love is in the air. And that means you guys should be with your partner or your hookups at home watching some Valentine's Day horror movies. And if you guys are unaware, there are such things. There's Valentine's 2001, there's My Bloody Valentine 1981, and today's movie, which I'm talking about today, My Bloody Valentine 2009. Let's get into it.
I like it spooky.
Hey, what's up, hardheads? Welcome back to Bobby Likes It Spooky, and today we're talking about a 2009 horror gem that I love so much called My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine is about a guy named Tom who returns to his hometown on the 10th anniversary of the Valentine's Day night massacre that claimed the lives of 22 people. Instead of a homecoming, Tom finds himself suspected of committing the murders. It seems like his old flame is the only one that believes he's innocent. My Bloody Valentine is directed by Lussier and written by Todd Farmer and Zane Smith, starring Jensen, Ackles, Jaime, Kerr, and Tom Atkins. I was just lazy. I took that right off of IMDb. Guys, if you've never seen My Bloody Valentine 2009 before, you guys are in for a fun slasher ride. It's not the best horror story that makes sense, but it's a lot of fun to watch. I remember seeing this movie in theaters for the first time and my mind was blown just because I always want that immersive 3D experience watching a horror film. And this is a great film to watch in 3D because it's actually made for 3D. When you watch this movie, not even in 3D, if you own a 3D television or glasses or a Blu-ray player or whatever, you still get that experience. It's just not really popping out at you. But when you watch this movie in 2D, you can actually see that this movie was made for 3D. And like I said, if you haven't seen this movie in 3D, watching it in 2D is just going to be just as fun. Only because you get that fun slasher throwback 80s kind of type of feel a little bit. It's shot very well. The 3D is actually used properly in this movie, like as far as the kills, like you can actually see this being done without it being 3D. So if you got like a pickaxe being thrown at you, because I mean a killer would do that if they're chasing after somebody, is coming right at you. If blood is being splattered or whatever, a lot of stuff in here is coming at you in this movie and it's absolutely amazing. And when you, again, if you watch this movie in 2D, you're going to kind of wish you've seen it in 3D. So the 3D in this movie is top notch. I just want to get that out the way. But being as though that we're not all watching this movie in 3D, watching it in 2D, you're going to have a great experience just watching it just the same. It's a fun movie. Some of the characters in this movie is not the best. Like, I didn't really find anybody likable in here too much, except for the character that Jaime is playing, Sarah Palmer. Like, she's probably the only likable character in this movie, just because she's kind of innocent and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And she's torn between the two with her old lover and her current husband. And it's kind of like a little romance situation going on just because they've known each other when they were younger and now that they're adults, I guess. And Tom finds his way back into town. She got those old feelings rushing back, and she knows that her husband is treating her like crap, okay? Her husband is not the best person in here. And rewatching this movie, I'd realized that all the men in this movie is trash. All of them. I mean, Tom with the exception, but he got some mental stuff going on, so I'll give him a pass only because he's not treating a woman like trash. He's just all messed up altogether. Whereas though you got Kerr Smith character, Ackles, who's actually treating his wife like crap by cheating on her with this little girl behind her back on Valentine's Day. He's just super toxic. I don't like Kerr Smith in his role. He plays the douchebag really, really well in this movie, and he just made me absolutely hate him. The kills in this movie is top notch. In my personal opinion, they're so fun. It's gory. It's gross. There's a lot of scenes in this movie, especially when I did watch it in 3D, and it was like guts and stuff coming at me and jaws and, you know, pickaxes and all that types of stuff. The kills in here are super crazy and creative and aggressive, and that's how I love my slashers. And it makes me think that Harry Warden, the killer in this movie, the minor, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Even going back watching the 1981 original movie, I felt like this movie could have spawned a couple more sequels and they could have done so much more with this character. And even with this movie here, I felt like they could have produced another sequel after this movie, especially of how it ended. Now, a lot of people have mixed feelings of how it ended and who the killer really was. The killer's reveal, it was kind of sloppy, and I remember seeing this in theaters. I was just like, all right, it's kind of evident who it clearly is. They're trying to throw you off. They did their best to try to throw you off. It didn't work. I knew who it was. It was clear as day. And now rewatching this movie, you kind of think like, oh, well, it's that person the whole entire time, and they just try to throw you off and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff to make it seem like you're crazy. I feel like this movie doesn't get talked about enough or even get the credit it deserves, especially for the early 2000s. We got a lot of great horror movies that came out in the early 2000s. This movie was stylish as hell, in my personal opinion. When it comes to slashers, this is the type of stuff that we like to see. We like to see, you know, jaws being ripped off. We like to see people being baked inside of a dryer, even though that came from the 1981 original. It was paying homage. We just love seeing cheese. We love seeing pickaxes being penetrated on top of somebody's dome. This movie did so good with the kills and the graphics, and I feel like you guys should talk about it more. It's one of those movies that kind of goes there and doesn't hold anything back for My Bloody Valentine type of movie. Now, I'm not saying this movie's perfect. There's a lot of things in here that's very sloppy, and it could have been done a little bit better as far as the reveal and then kind of how it actually went off, even though I got a love-hate with how it went off, but we'll get into that. How some of the characters were used in this movie, I just didn't really like too much. And as far as the plot, it could have been done a little bit better as far as why Harry Warden came back into this town and start killing people. Even though we know it was one of our main characters, it's just how everything unfolded. That's just like my biggest gripe with the movie. It just didn't kind of make sense and it was kind of sloppy. There's a couple of scenes in this movie that I love so much, where you got Megan and Sarah fighting for their lives inside the grocery store. I want to see a lot more grocery store horror scenes, only because this one seems like it was a lot of fun. Like how a guy with a pickaxe is chasing you through the market is a lot of fun. And this scene actually reminds me of Scream 3, where you got the fake gal who is played by Parker Posey, and you got the real gal. And in that scene, Gal is running trying to save somebody, and you got the fake gal running after the real gal, and how she's running towards her is so dramatic and funny. Parker Posey played that scene hilariously. And watching the scene, I thought about that movie only because of how they were running through the market, and then you got Megan screaming, how the camera angle is, you know, in her face as she's running. I instantly thought about those two scenes together, and I just started chuckling. And how the whole scene played out in general was just glorious. I love every bit of it. You know, the pickaxe going through the door, Jimmy King character is holding the door while Megan's trying to unlock the window and trying to go through it. Only problem is how quickly that coal miner got outside of that grocery store, went around the whole entire building to grab Megan from that window and kill her. It seemed like that happened literally in like 10 seconds, where later on when Megan is killed, unfortunately, it took him forever to first of all go across the grocery store to get out, to go around the grocery store into the alley, and then there was another section where they had to turn to get to the window where Megan was dragged out of. It's just like, how did the coal miner run out of there that quick in that time frame and pull Megan out and killed her at that same time? It just happened too quickly, where later on it just didn't match up with the timing. But that's just me nitpicking, but maybe you guys will notice that too. Another funny thing in this movie was at the end of where, you know, Sarah's confronting Ackles and Tom as the killers. You know, she got the gun pointed at both of them, saying, you know, and they were like blaming each other. And at that point, I felt like I was playing a game of Among Us, just because how they was going back and forth. He's the killer. He did it. No, Sarah, he was there. He was the one that was putting the hearts in the candy boxes. No, Sarah, he was there. He was the one that put that saying above Megan's dead body. I really feel like I was sitting there watching two people suss each other so one of them could get ejected from the ship. It was just all too much. But it was alright. It was a fun time. I enjoyed the movie. I loved it, especially at the end when it's finally revealed of who our killer was. And even though I said I didn't like the ending, I feel like the character's reveal, I'm not going to tell you, but by watching this video, you should already know who it was. I feel like once the killer was revealed and, you know, that person was walking away and that face they made at the camera and then walked out of frame, I love that part so much. It just made me hot, and I love it. But yeah, guys, My Bloody Valentine 2009 is a great horror film to watch, especially around this time. Watch it with some friends, you know, virtually, of course, because we're still in a damn pandemic. And if you have a 3D TV and a 3D Blu-ray and a 3D version of this movie, then watch My Bloody Valentine 3D, because it's a great time experiencing that. And don't watch it with these glasses, because you will get an instant headache. When I purchased this movie on DVD and it came with these glasses, I tried to go the whole movie with these glasses. It did not work. I just fast forward to the scenes that had the pop and 3D effects just so I can get the use out of these glasses. Watching the movie with these green and purple lenses, it will give you a headache. At least it did for me. So I would not recommend. But yes, I love this movie so much. It's a great slasher film. It's not the best story or whatever, but it's a fun time. So my rating for this film is a 3.5 out of a 5, a horror head watch. I recommend watching this obviously around Valentine's Day, which is right around the corner. By the time you watch this video, it might be today. If you don't own My Bloody Valentine 3D, this movie is streaming on HBO Max right now. So if you have HBO Max, check it out right there. Not in 3D, but it's still fun. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new to this video, and comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this movie. So yeah, guys, thanks again for watching this video. I really appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful and happy Valentine's Day. Take care of yourselves. Get all the loving that you can get. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.